By the end of this module, you will understand the centrality of music in African religious and spiritual life. Identify musical practices and instruments used in rituals, ceremonies, and worship. Analyze the spiritual roles of trance, possession, invocation, and healing in music. Recognize the influence of Christianity and Islam on African religious music. Evaluate the continuity and transformation of sacred music in modern African life. African music is not merely a form of entertainment, it is a spiritual force, a medium of transcendence, and a tool for divine communication. In traditional and contemporary African societies, music is intrinsically woven into religious rituals, spiritual experiences, sacred rites, ancestral worship, and ceremonial life. This module investigates how music functions as a conduit between the physical and metaphysical realms in various African cultures and belief systems. Throughout Africa, music is perceived as a gift from the gods, a sacred language, and a mystical tool for healing, invocation, initiation, and identity reinforcement. It is used in birth and naming ceremonies, puberty rites, weddings, funerals, harvests, rainmaking rituals, divination sessions, and religious festivals. Music accompanies chants, dances, prayers, trances, sacrifices, and spiritual possession. This module also explores the ways African music has shaped and been shaped by Abrahamic religions, particularly Christianity and Islam, and how it continues to serve as a spiritual compass in both traditional faiths and modern religious practices. The spiritual worldview in African societies. African cosmology is deeply spiritual. Music is seen as living, breathing energy, capable of linking humans with gods, spirits, and ancestors. There is often no separation between sacred and secular in African life. All music has the potential for spiritual impact. Music is essential for maintaining cosmic balance, ancestral respect, and communal order. Rituals and ceremonies empowered by music. Birth rites. Drums, lullabies, and chants welcome newborns and invoke blessings. Initiation ceremonies. Drumming and songs accompany rites of passage into adulthood. Symbolic instruments are used. Marriage ceremonies. Music blesses unions, invites fertility, and celebrates lineage. Funerals. Music is used to mourn, send off the dead, honor the ancestors, and ease communal grief. Harvest and rainmaking. Dances and chants are performed to thank gods or summon rain. War and protection rituals. Music is used to invoke strength, courage, and divine protection. Trance, possession, and spirit invocation through sound. In many traditions, e.g., Yoruba, Iwe, Shona, specific rhythms and chants are believed to invite or summon spirits. Instruments like the talking drum, udu, mbira, and balafon are used to trigger ecstatic states. Spirit mediums, priests, and worshippers may enter trances during ceremonies, facilitated by musical repetition, rhythm, and melody. Religious musical traditions in African indigenous faiths. Orisha worship, Yoruba. Songs dedicated to deities, e.g. Sango, Osun, Ogun, using bada drums and call-and-response chants. Vodun, West Africa. Music is central to rituals involving spirit possession and ancestral connection. Zulu ancestral rituals involve Isakathamia songs, hand-clapping, and rhythmic stomping. Dagara xylophone ceremonies, Ghana, Burkina Faso. Use of gael to accompany funerary and cleansing rites. Christianity and African music. African churches have created rich musical traditions incorporating drums, clapping, dancing, and local languages. Genres like gospel highlife, Pentecostal praise, and Zionist Zion music reflect Africanization of Christianity. Music is used for worship, healing, exorcism, and spiritual revival. Many churches have choirs, musical bands, and praise teams central to spiritual life. Islam and African music. In regions like West and East Africa, Islamic practice blends with indigenous musical customs. Islamic praise music, nasheeds, chants, and zikr, accompanied by frame drums and hand claps. Wolof, Mandinka, and Hausa communities integrate Arabic prayer recitation with local vocal styles. Sufi brotherhoods, e.g., Tijaniya, Qadiriya, use dhikr rituals, where chanting and drumming elevate spiritual consciousness. Musical instruments used in sacred contexts. Drums. Seen as sacred, many must be consecrated before use. Examples: djembe, bata, ngoma. Flutes and horns, used to call spirits or announce sacred events. Mbira, thumb piano, believed to connect with ancestors, especially among Shona people. Xylophones, played during initiations, healing, or funerals. Rattles and bells, used to awaken spirits or mark the presence of a deity. Music and healing. Music is used by traditional healers, diviners, and shamans to diagnose, treat, or appease. Certain rhythms and songs are considered medicinal. Dance and music are part of psychosomatic healing, relieving emotional and mental distress. Modern religious movements and music. Neo-traditional churches blend drums and synths with biblical themes. African diaspora religions like Santeria, Candomblé, and Vodou preserve spiritual music from African roots. Contemporary gospel artists often fuse Afrobeat, highlife, and soul to create cross-generational appeal. Religious music is also used in political protest, social advocacy, and reconciliation movements. The sacred role of the musician. In many African communities, musicians are spiritual agents, trained, consecrated, and respected. The drummer, griot, or chanteur holds ritual authority, sometimes equivalent to that of a priest. Some instruments and songs are restricted. Only certain people can play them or hear them. Music is not just sound, it is a sacred responsibility. Suggested activities. Attend or view a video of an African traditional or religious ceremony and document the music used. Compare the music of a Pentecostal African church with that of a Yoruba traditional ritual. Interview a traditional musician or church choir director about the spiritual significance of their work. Create a map or timeline tracing sacred music practices in at least 3 African countries. Write a reflection essay on a personal or observed spiritual experience involving music.